The reddish evening sun shone through the thin fabric of the white robe, making the sister's silhouette look like an alien apparition for a moment. Her face remained partially in the shadow of the ceremonial hood, making her expression difficult to read. The sister let her gaze glide over the exposed marshland. Her eyes narrowed noticeably in the shadow of her hood as she noticed the team's soil samples and measuring devices. Her long pale fingers stroked the surface of her portable data device. An ancient model with ornate decorations that looked more like a religious artifact than a scientific instrument. The church is concerned about the tampering of this sacred. Her voice had the even intonation of years of reciting genetic litanies. This land was once part of the original bogs of Scifinovel. You know that the moors are under special protection. Marina suppressed a snort, which Alexei acknowledged with a warning look. The tension in the air grew noticeably, intensified by the dramatic evening light, which cast long shadows and plunged everyone's faces into a play of light and darkness. "I have all the necessary authorizations, Sister Ivanova," Alexei replied calmly. He activated his own data projector and made a series of official documents appear in the air between them, glowing green confirmations with the seals of the colonial administration. This area was cleared for cultivation by the Genetic Council after reclamation began before colonization by natural tectonic activity. The documents reflected the nurse's dark eyes as she studied each with an inscrutable gaze. The artificial lighting of the holograms made her face appear even paler, almost like a mask. Alexei took a deep breath and tried to diffuse the tense situation. He could feel the rhythmic pulse of the planet beneath his feet, a subtle vibration that bore witness to the still active tectonic shifts shaping and changing this world. Interactions with the HELIX were always delicate, especially here on Scifinovel, where colonization was still in its infancy and every action was under special scrutiny. Like respect, Sister Ivanova, your enclave of the church has only been present in this world for a few months. Like the rest of us, you are trying to find your footing here. His voice remained respectful but firm as he deactivated the holoprojections and stepped towards the sister. The setting sun's light refracted in the tiny beads of sweat on his forehead. We are working together on the development of this world, each with our skills and knowledge. The HELIX sister stiffened noticeably. Her fingers clutched the silver double HELIX amulet at her neck, a protective gesture that Alexei had often observed in church representatives when they felt challenged. The metal of the amulet caught a last ray of sunlight and cast a brief, blinding reflection. She existed long before colonization, technician Volkov. Our principles apply regardless of physical location. Her voice had taken on a hint of sharpness that cut through the ceremonial sameness. Nikolai rolled his eyes almost imperceptibly, a gesture that only Marina and Alexei noticed. On the other hand, Marina suddenly developed an intense interest in her datapad, while her knuckles turned white from clutching the device so tightly. A light breeze brushed across the terrain, stirring up fine dust that shimmered like tiny fireflies in the evening light. In the distance, the muffled hum of the main settlement's generators could be heard, a steady, reassuring pulse of human presence on this alien celestial body. "Well, of course, sister." Alexei nodded respectfully as his gaze wandered briefly to the purple pioneer plants at the edge of the compound, symbols of adaptation and survival under difficult conditions. "I didn't mean to question your principles at all. I want to emphasize that we are all pursuing the same goal, the prosperity of this colony." The tension in Ivanova's posture eased minimally, and her shoulders relaxed barely. Alexei used this moment deftly, like a chess player spotting a tiny opening in his opponent's defense. "If you want to learn more about our work, join us on our next project tour." He smiled kindly as the last ray of sunlight disappeared over the horizon, and the team's automatic field lights activated, bathing the site in a soft, bluish glow. "We'll inspect the Gen Monastery construction site in an hour." Sister Ivanova's eyebrows raised in surprise, one of her few natural reactions so far. The Gene Monastery? Yes. The buildings your brothers and sisters will occupy once the main complex is completed. Alexei activated his holoprojector module again, with softer lighting that didn't contrast the sister's face as much. My pictures, the bluish holograms showed detailed blueprints of an impressive complex in the traditional HELIX style, domed buildings with spiraling towers that blended harmoniously into the landscape. We have developed special filtration systems to ensure the purity of the air in the meditation rooms, as required by the High Council. The animated plans showed sophisticated air filters and purification systems specially designed for the church. Nina and Nikolai exchanged a brief, surprised glance. They had obviously not realized how far the plans for the monastery had already progressed. The sister looked at the holograms with renewed interest. Her stiff posture relaxed a little as she recognized the familiar shapes of the church architecture. In the artificial light of the holograms, her face seemed less severe, almost human in its sincere interest. Ashti would be acceptable. Her voice had taken on a warmer tone. The Brotherhood of Gene Sequencers has expressed concerns about the air quality in the temporary quarters. Wonderful. Alexei deactivated the projector with an elegant wave of his hand. The holograms dissolved into glittering particles of light that slowly faded. We'll meet at the Eastern Shuttle landing pad. It's only a short flight to the site from there. The atmosphere was noticeably more relaxed when the last lights of the holoprojection went out. Anya began to pack up her equipment, while Nikolai was already entering the coordinates of the next visit into his communication device. The drones lowered themselves to their standard working height and continued collecting data. Sister Ivanova bowed her head slightly in farewell, a respectful gesture that Alexei returned with a similar gesture. As she turned to walk to the agreed-upon meeting point, the bluish light of the field lamps fell on her profile, revealing for a brief moment an almost imperceptible smile, a sign that perhaps there was more pragmatism beneath the HELIX sister's stern facade than her habit suggested. And the path to the coexistence of science and faith in this new world would not be easy, but Alexei could see a glimmer of hope in this moment of silent agreement. As night fell over Scifinovel and the first stars appeared in the sky, he realized that the real challenge of colonization lay not in adapting the planet to human needs, but in adapting humans to each other.